Ladies and gentlemen, you are most welcome. The match between Caesar and Yacoob is just starting right now. This is the second life. And Caesar Chandiga shooting against the South African in their second life of the tournament. And Caesar breaks and pots is shooting out the yellows. Caesar Chandiga is contemplating for the break and finish. And then he misses that yellow. It means he invites Yacoob on the frame, on the table. Remember, if Caesar loses this match, he will be saying a goodbye for the whatever from the tournament once and for all. For Caesar Chandiga to remain in this tournament, he has to win this very match by all means. The frame is looking quite finishable for now. The South African Yacoob is up against the last two reds, putting both of them to different corresponding corner pockets. You may tip him of winning the first frame of the match, ladies and gentlemen. He's going for maybe a bunker shot, putting into a corner pocket, a center pocket opposite. Wow, you may think he's a bit lucky. The bouncing your two three maybe two cushions to pot the red, and now up against the 8 boys. Look at maybe a bit Musomps will be playing a carving a cube into Caesar's yellow to see if we can go for a pot. And ladies and gentlemen, Yacoob sinks in the 8 ball, making it 1 frame to 0 against Caesar Chandiga. Oh my goodness, Caesar is trailing by 1 frame to 0. As it stands. And then Yacoob breaks, and at least he puts a ball on the break. You may say Caesar is living dangerously once again in his second life. Oh wow. There's a little bit of network disturbing, but nonetheless, you have to watch as the match unfolds. Now Caesar is given a chance. Maybe he can give us an equalizer if he can go all the way and he clears this frame after being invited on the table. There is that angle of the camera watching from that as the other comes back. Remember, for Caesar to stay in the match or in this tournament, he has to win this match. Nonetheless, if he loses this match, maybe we shall remain only watching him in the team's event where his team is still on. And now Yacoob is here up and running.
Microphone
the
check.
Score are still 1-0 and
Peter Chobe live YouTube. Microphone check.
2 Reds away to another frame. Up against the 8 ball for the second time. Yacoob makes it 2-0 against Caesar Chandiga. Race to 7, second life.
Microphone check. Microphone check. Is it clear? It's clear. Welcome to day number 4 of 6, ladies and gentlemen. Today is predominantly singles action. We are starting off right here at the Bondo Lounge, the African Ultimate Pool Championships first edition. It's now the double. It's now the second life. is upon us. It is the Ugandan in Caesar Chandiga, donning red, yellow, and black of Uganda, taking Yacoob Sheikh of the South Africa team. Call it the Cape Town Select team. They are racing to 7. Yacoob is leading by 2 frames to nil. I am streaming 2 matches at the same time. Break and Finish Live Facebook. Break and Finish Live YouTube does have Malvan Makonza versus Ian Kazibe. Then the match between Caesar and Yacoob is on Peter Chove Live, as well as Q Pixels Photography YouTube, sharing the same exact commentary. Q Pixels Photography having a rectangular view and Peter Chove Live having a diagonal view. Both very clear, both very neat, and once again they share the same exact commentary. The Ugandan is in dire trouble here because he lost his first life in the first round to a little known South African called Nyaope, yet he could very easily be on the verge of exiting the singles if he doesn't win 7 more frames before Yacoob can win 5. Yacoob is one of the best players coming from Cape Town, taking on one of the best, some say arguably the best player they say on the African continent, who is on the verge, Caesar, now of winning his first frame of the match with black putted diagonally. Yes, it is a frame pulled back by the Scorpion. It is now Caesar 1 and Yacoob 2. It's not the very first time Yacoob interacting with Uganda's finest shooters. He was part of the South African team that visited Uganda, not just a visit, a competitive visit. Was to the African Championships that were held in Kampala in 2016, 9 years ago. Then he was a very small boy. The South African team came second to the Ugandans on the day. He was also part of the team that represented South Africa at the African Championships 3 years later in 2019 in Sekunda district in this province where we are, Mpumalanga. Then the event was won by South Africa. I don't remember him taking one Caesar prior to today. And it is, yes, perhaps, maybe Yacoob doesn't interface a lot in some of those regional competitions. He does love official ones. He also loves participating in the South African Nationals as well as events outside the continent like the Worlds, sponsored by major brands. Caesar representing official as part of the Uganda national team into the event. This match, believe you me, is having Aiden Joseph standing right near the table, almost at Q length from the table. For whatever reason, he wants to watch every frame with his naked eye. He doesn't want someone to tell him what transpired. He wants to see him by himself, and will be supporting Yacoob Sheikh all the way. Here is Caesar. He must be at his very best. He's taking on a top quality player. Caesar, of course, a top quality player himself, and of course more renowned in terms of achievements than Yacoob. That is the cut of the last red, which just was 99% accurate. The 1% Yacoob not being able to shoot on target. He now has to show us what he's made of by trying to make a clearance of this yellow's frame. If he plays the combination on target, perhaps try to pass the yellow between cushion and red, goes for the combination and gets it wrong. Now, in ultimate rules, that is a technical foul. The incoming player only plays, but the cue ball is not in hand. He plays the cue ball from its position. The rules were made with that kind of shooting benefiting the fouling player. Rules are rules, and Yacoob is turning himself into a major beneficiary of the same rules. Now, wanting perhaps to displace the red a little bit, he played the shot so direct. I don't think that was right. Not having any interface between yellow and red. Now perhaps his only option is a very possible option: make a clearance, finish the yellows all within his current visit of the table. He has very good ability to pot, very good game reading, manipulates the cue ball around the cushions of the table very well, very competitive, trying to make a name for himself in a province far away from home. By the way, it is very the distance that Yacoob moved to the venue is not so much longer than the distance Caesar moved to the venue from home. Cape Town is so far away from Mpumalanga. You could probably need 2.5 hours of flight and a few days if you were to use the road. It will take Yacoob 3 shots for him to win the frame. That is one. The second is the pot of the yellow. The third is the pot of the black. He's getting in the groove. He seems to be the more confident player. He's utilizing his opportunities better, and he's on the verge of winning the third frame out of 4. Also on the verge of eliminating the Scorpion out of the competition. It is seemingly possible because it is double life with Caesar on 1 life. Yacoob trying to kick out his second, and he pots black and leads by 3 frames to 1.
I lost my stick that I used to transfer. I don't have a laptop. I think I lost places.
There are so many top quality matches all around the venue. If you're watching on Key Pixels Photography, you can as well view the peripheral. You can as well have the peripheral view of the match between Dyer from Cape Town and Joseph Kasozi from Kampala. There is Mercy, the other Cape Town giant, taking on Chile Mubanga, Chile Bobo. Looks like Taufik will be taking on, not exactly sure, but as well there is a live stream of Ian Kazibe, the Ugandan, taking on Malvan Makonza from Zimbabwe. Please accept my apologies those who want one of the streams on Facebook. When the game is too big, when I cannot do 2 streams of the same game at the same time, I would rather do both matches on YouTube now, because Facebook does not keep permanent storage of live streamed videos anymore. After 30 days, they are deleted automatically. So kept permanently on the internet, something that Facebook provides no more. Yacoob will want Caesar to participate in the competition no more by winning 4 more frames before Caesar can win 6. And it looks possible, starting with this action like this. You just want it kept permanently on the internet, something that Facebook provides no more. Ongoing frame, he has 4 yellow support. The frame is not an easy one, but the guy is not just a very good player, he also has very good customization to the tables. For once we get him. He has 4 yellow support. The frame is not an easy one, but the guy is not just a very good player, he also has very good customization to the tables. For once we get him. Miss and Miss Bigley. Miss and Miss Bigley. For the fact that you are watching on YouTube, you can play the video just a little bit backwards to see how good he potted the first black of the match. It was something special, and also perhaps one of the best blacks that have been potted in not just the match but also the tournament. Another chance comes begging for Yacoob after another miss, yet by Caesar. You don't see the Scorpion in as much trouble as he's in today. The tournament has so far not been a success whatsoever. A double life competition it is, but he got to lose his first life in very unexpected manner to the South Africa. Well, then he got to be defeated in the round of last 16 by Caesar's countryman Ibra Kayanja. And Caesar now has to go the hard way. The way has been made even harder, because he now must win 6 frames against Yacoob. And it's a time tournament, remember. We just think that these players have the speed and prowess to play out the race to completion, even not needing to have it end on time. Yacoob has to be careful here. He has to play yellow first, not red, not black. Has played yellow first and gotten the bank almost right. But almost is not right enough.
Kelvin Fekoti
Kelvin Fekoti
watching the match in close proximity.
watching the match in close proximity. Aiden Joseph watching the match in close proximity. Caesar's South African friend, fan, and manager.
Bikani Mthembo, we call him manager Yacoob in Uganda. He traveled all the way from Johannesburg to come and support his boy. He's South African. Believe me, he doesn't support the Mzansi. Today, I always disturb him like that. He's okay with it. He really, really loves his.
Bikani Mthembo, we call him manager Yacoob in Uganda. He traveled all the way from Johannesburg to come and support his boy. He's South African. Believe me, he doesn't support the Mzansi. Today, I always disturb him like that. He's okay with it. He really, really loves Caesar. And I know that Marisa is as well in Johannesburg. I call him Caesar's #1 fan. And I wish him a quick recovery. Marisa was the guy that
Ugandan team upon touching down on South African soil, he really has a very big
welcomed the Ugandan team
moved to
upon touching down on South African soil. He really has a very big love story with Uganda. And moved to Mpumalanga, driving from Johannesburg, but has not been feeling well, and has since then gone back to Gauteng to get medical care. Quick recovery, Marisa. And I know that the current scoreline of the match is making you even sadder. Caesar needing to put ready in a very sharp cut to the center pocket. He has fouled, however, it's just a loss of turn, and Yacoob cannot have the cue ball in hand. It's a situation which I think will favor Caesar more than it will affect him. And
left, perhaps right on Peter Chevela if this is a shot.
Unless Yacoob can make a very sharp cut of the yellow and try and ride it right against the rail into the corner pocket, bottom left, perhaps right on Peter Chevela if this is a shot. It seems off. Black was almost spotted, but Yacoob can now count himself lucky because it has displaced red successfully. Most probable shot for Caesar will be a very slow, balanced, slow powered cushion drive play. Red rail against the rail to the corner pocket diagonally. If he doesn't put, he will hopefully be snookered. Just like that. Just like that. And perhaps Yacoob could need another shot with similar implication. Oops, if he can, I didn't think he has sight of the yellow. If he has, he'll probably be winning the frame. If he can cut it, white will be natural for the black. There he goes. There he cuts it. White safe for the black. And just like that, Yacoob is winning a 4th frame out of 5. The South African leads now by 4 frames to 1. It is a trio of Cape Town based players taking on a trio of Kampala based players. Uganda versus South Africans on 3 tables. Dyer from Cape Town in South Africa. It is a trio of Cape Town based players taking on a trio of Kampala based players. Ugandans versus South Africans on 3 tables. Dyer from Cape Town in South Africa. 2. Joseph Kasozi from Uganda. 1. Yacoob from Cape Town and South Africa. 4. Caesar from Kampala and Uganda. 1. Jordan from Cape Town, South Africa. 0. Hazard from Kampala in Uganda. 4. Malvan Makonza from Harare. 3. Ian from Kampala in on 1. Many times that Yacoob is some kind of there's this sound that is normally produced many times that Yacoob plays as if it is a miscue, as if it is some kind of bizarre tip of his cue stick. You can very easily think that he fouls so many times that he plays. Singles competition could be coming to a first round in. Here comes the Scorpion. He should start winning and must start winning now, or else his singles competition could be coming to a first round end in both lives. I have to say, you are listening from someone that has been streaming his games for years, that I have never ever seen that, irrespective of city, country, or competition. He has played these double life and double eliminations competitions in Uganda, in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Zambia, in Zimbabwe, here in South Africa, in the United Kingdom, in Morocco. He has never ever lost both of his lives in the first round. If he loses this match, that will have happened in a negative way for him for the very first time in his rather bright career. Another shot he has with a big level of difficulty. Potting yellow, manipulating cue ball for the would-be second yellow. The pot not easy, the cue ball even more difficult, and it's showing in his stroke, in his stance, and the results of his frame. So far, Yacoob outplaying Caesar every step of the way, and frame number 6 is as well highly likely now to go the way of the South African. Seems now to be enjoying himself. Every time your opponent is not performing well, is not playing well, it gets you more confident, you play better. Like you can see Yacoob now doing. Look at the positional play of his cue at the same exact point he would have wanted if he had to place it by playing hand. Is where he has its sight. He has of the would-be ball that would have given him difficulty. Now the cut on the red he has beaten white gives him natural white for the red, which is packed at the center pocket. And how good can pattern play be? He's not just a better player in the match, he is a distant better player so far. Playing at the peak of his powers against someone whose game is clearly way far apart from his best. Here he comes. He has gotten himself a poor shot for once. He seems to have snookered himself, at least partially from my camera angle. I'm not so certain he has any sight of the red. He's trying nonetheless, finding a red off cushion. If he does, and probably pots, he'll probably winning the frame. There comes the shot. He finds the red, but doesn't pot. If he had potted, it would be something of a cracking shot because there was a big spin on the cue ball of the cushion. The tempting shot for Caesar. Perhaps he's trying and put the yellow diagonally to the corner pocket. Top right on Q Pixels photography, top left on Peter Show Live. Seemingly instead he wants to go for the center pocket. That is tricky, and he has missed. Not only isn't he playing at his best, Caesar, some of his decisions in the match have been just a little suspect. Yacoob. He has been getting it right most of the time on these ones. There he is. It's a miss. And this time round, I see no probable way that Caesar will be letting him back in this frame. If Caesar doesn't, he will have no business, in my opinion, even trying to win this match, where he has so far been a distant second best. And yes, out of two players now, he will want to cut yellow, leaving himself a relatively sharp cut. But once he does, the white ball could bounce off the top cushion and back into space. He has used little power and a very good white balance for once. He shows his prowess and wins the frame and pulls one back and makes it possible that he can pull this one off and try to take Yacoob out of this life. Caesar Chandiga 2, Yacoob Sheikh 4, race to 7.
Bite into something so what's the word? Oh yes. Something fresh-alicious, something snackylicious and funnylicious, something sweetylicious and crunchlicious, something so extra-licious and so creamylicious. Bite into Britannia cream biscuits.
In case you're just now joining the stream, you are watching the first round of the second life of the singles in the men's category at the ongoing first edition of the Truly African Ultimate Pool Championships. We are at the Ebundo Lounge, Mbombela District in Mpumalanga Province in the Rainbow Nation of South Africa. Uganda's Caesar Chandiga, whom many take as one of the tournament favorites, if not the very favorite, is on the verge of the brink of elimination if he loses this match against the South African Yacoob Sheikh. Who leads by 4 frames to 2, racing to 7, and Yacoob looks perhaps on the verge of maybe, just maybe, winning a 5th out of 8. Has played his cue ball out of position. He played big, but lacked direction. He could perhaps have played it into the black because it could have split both of the reds open. Now wants to recover by potting red by bank to the center pocket. In case you're just now joining the stream, you are the first round of the second life agree at the ongoing first edition of the truly African Ultimate Pool Championships. We are at the Ebundo Lounge, Mbombela District, in Mpumalanga Province, in the Rainbow Nation of South Africa. Uganda's Caesar Chandiga, whom many take as one of the tournament favorites, if not the very favorite, is on the verge of the brink of elimination if he loses this match against the South African Yacoob Sheikh, who leads by 4 frames to 2. Racing to 7, and Yacoob looks perhaps on the verge of maybe, just maybe, winning a 5th out of 8. He has played his cue ball out of position. He will think and think and think with intention to produce a wonder shot that will give him a 5th frame 1 in the match. Here he is. Cue ball off cushion. He seems to be playing it with spin on it. It will find the black, and white will be potted. The commentator's curse comes to haunt Yacoob. And of course, Caesar now with chance to the bed of the table. He'll position it right behind the would-be dead yellow on the table, which he pots. He will probably be a certain winner of frame number 70. It's a very, very important frame for Caesar, not only to pull 1 frame back, but to try and put Yacoob under enormous pressure, lower his playing level, and perhaps he will want to put yellow to the center pocket, cue ball bouncing off the cushion with the right spin on it, and then in position where he'll put the second yellow, which is a little bit frozen against the cushion. Just like that. Seems to be a popular guy Even in a country far away from home, he still has some South African fans at the venue supporting him, and is now winning frame number 7. It has been a well fought and a well-deserved frame won by the Scorpion. He pulls one back again. He wins the second frame in succession for the first time in the match. Now Yacoob Sheikh leads by 4 frames to 3. Eat food. Francis, eat pap.
Yeah, I got this thing.
Yes. What's that? That's for ladies. I'm buying you pap for lunch today.
Not this thing.
Yeah. Let me collect scores and I tell you.
Please come to the crowd. Blended Cosme and Ben. Ben from Kenya.
Kenya's Fahad Osman is leading by 4 frames to 2 against a player I have to confess I don't know so much about. He's from here in Pumalanga. The Zimbabwean Malvan Mokonza leads by 4 frames to 3 against Ian Kazibwe, while Joseph Kasozi has defeated Dyer, perhaps, by 7 frames to 2. Jordan from Cape Town is trying to mount a comeback against Hazard of Uganda. It's now 4 frames to 0 just about 20 minutes ago. And yet as well, Yacoob is trying to win frame number 8 against Caesar of Uganda. It's 3 matches pitted against 3 Ugandans and 3 South Africans from the same cities, Kampala versus Cape. This is Yacoob wanting to play yellow into another. There he goes, there he goes. Oops. It came a bit short, but I think it will be okay because he has played the red away. He stands a chance.
That looks this good. New Nivea Nourishing Cocoa, now with Hyaluron.
is the black. It would even be better if he played the yellow off the black, because it will split the center pocket up for Yacoob to plot as well the second yellow to that same center pocket, only if he manipulates cue ball enough to put now his next shot that I said yellow off the black. It's what he's probably trying to do. I'm only assuming, and only if. Yellow off black, played to perfection. Good game reading, sharing the same exact thought as the commentator. He has one relatively tricky ball on the table, Yacoob, for him to win what will be a 5th frame out of 9. Sorry, out of 8, because this is frame number 8. This is kind of suspect shooting. He really has mastered the craft of playing rail raids, Yacoob. What he didn't master well in this instance was to have perfect power balance, because he has given himself very hard work of having a sharp cut of the yellow, trying to put it to the corner pocket bottom of the screen where there is the black. It's the corner pocket top left. Watching on QPixel's photography, he will nonetheless try, and no shade of a doubt that he can. What Caesar needs is perhaps just a chance to play. But Yacoob has fouled. And not just a foul. Caesar has the cue ball in hand with the opportunity to place it anywhere on the bed of the table. Maybe not. Thank you. For watching, I welcome to the stream. Onathim Fiki supporting Yacoob, Grim Kans supporting Yacoob, Ben Jematongo Music saying it is possible. Robinson Matovo, you are applauding the new confidence levels of Caesar in the match. Sithembiso Masebola always watching from Southern Africa. He says that Yacoob is thinking about winning instead of playing. Well. No, it's just that Caesar has been fighting hard, especially the last 3 frames. It has been more for him than a fight, than a game. Marlon Davian Lendo, thank you for watching. And of course, Bobby in love for watching from Zimbabwe. You seem to be supporting Caesar. A little shout out to you, Charles Magisha, supporting Caesar. Stephen Karunji, you're asking if Yacoob has 2 lives. Yacoob has 1 life. Players with 2 lives are Chile Bobo from Zambia, there's 1 match in the quarterfinals of the first life that hasn't been played. It's between Aiden Joseph and Tammy of South Africa, and it's just those 2 players that have 2 lives in the comp. Then as well, Taufik of South Africa and Ibra Kayanja of Uganda. I'll be giving you a better update when Francis updates me as well. Abesula, thank you for watching. Keith Bantebia, thank you for watching from Kampala. I understand the pressure. Guy Hope and Faithy, welcome to the stream. I'm Maria Dan, thank you for watching. Samson PD, as Yacoob Sheikh looks to be on the verge of overcoming 3 frames that have been won by Caesar in the last 3 frames. Now Yacoob Sheikh, oh no. That's the thing about facing an opponent who is getting his groove back. As a player, you as well start losing a little bit of your confidence. You don't want an opponent coming back the way Caesar is. Caesar now going for trying to play red off cushion, finds the red and plays a relatively fine safety shot. Yacoob will want to respond to safety with another safety of his own. And be sure that Caesar will as well respond to this safety with yet another safety of his own. 4 frames all, resting to 7 now, officially rest to 3. And should Caesar escape from what Yacoob is mounting in this match, you just have a feeling that Caesar will be a very difficult player to have as an opponent going further in this tournament, should he survive Yacoob. But it is still only short. Yacoob has little sight of the yellow. The little sight he has of his yellow, he will be tempted, I know, to try and put it to the corner pocket, bottom left on Q Pixels Photography. All right, watching on Peter Chove Live. This is the shot. He also has to be careful because if he plays the watch carelessly, he could get it sunk. He has played some kind of safety. His intention is not allow Caesar easy pot or is it safety play? Caesar will definitely be playing another safety in this frame that is being played tactically than technically. Yacoob is snookered. He will be knowing it that shouldn't he find one of his yellows, he will be losing the frame. Here is finding the yellow, which is the dead of the two, and has to do it with power to displace the cue ball as well. Does it with power, but will not displace the cue ball enough. Has played it only in space. What will be in his kind of favor is the fact that it is so close to the cushion. It still has Caesar with chance to put it. I do fathom that Caesar will simply be rolling it. It was risky going for power. Caesar does the risk simply to have perfect white and gets white as perfect can be. Right in South Africa, on South African mid tables against a South African player, the Ugandan from Kampala does win 4 frames in a row for the first time in the match and takes the lead. It is Yacoob Sheikh 4 and Caesar Chaniga 5. The guy that has just tipped Caesar is my good friend. We just call him Cubes, Kibikani Mpembu, Caesar's friend, fan, and manager living in Johannesburg. He came from Gauteng, about 400 kilometers west, simply to come and support the Scorpion, though he's South African and gets sometimes crucified by South Africans for not supporting their own. Once again, Caesar 5 and
You know the story like on the table like.
there is a new shift in the confidence level amongst the players in a match that has so far been one of two halves. The first 30 minutes being dominated by far by Yacoob, the next 30 minutes being dominated by far by Caesar, who has a little sight of one of his yellows, which he'll want to play simply to avoid the foul. Plays yellow into another and plays some kind of defense, having one yellow packed behind Yacoob's red. He knew that should he give Yacoob chance to play with an open frame, it was more likely than not that Yacoob was finishing the frame and having the equalizer. Jordan of Cape Town has been knocked out by Hazard from Kampala. So it has been 2 Cape Town players knocked out by 2 Kampala players. This is the last match of the session between a player from Cape Town against the best of them players from Kampala. Action is underway as well in the ladies category. I'll be streaming some ladies games, have no doubt. Perhaps when it gets to the levels like the semi-finals, maybe overall quarter-finals. The first life semi-finals are all the Ugandan affairs. There are 2 players from South Africa, a very good number from Namibia, and 8 from Uganda. 4 Ugandans are out, having been defeated by fellow Ugandans. 4 Ugandans are into the first life semi-finals. They are that dominant. Yacoob was dominant in the first 30 minutes. He's not as dominant in the next 30. He has a chance of a shot that is seemingly tempting, playing the red he's looking at against the yellow, which if he does, gives him a chance not only to pot the yellow, but also open up the dead red, which is frozen against the yellow. That's the shot. Not successful. The frame looks pretty winnable with not so much ease, and Yacoob has every reason to consider himself in danger. After playing relatively poorly in the first 30 minutes, the last 4 frames have seen the Scorpion playing pretty much world-class pool, playing the game fast in the mind, not only playing but fighting for the frames and winning them 4 in a row, and now wants to make it 5. To make it 5, the rest is a formality. You have just seen Aiden walking across the camera. He knows that the guy he's supporting will most likely not be winning the match. Caesar Chandiga now 6 and Yacoob Sheikh 4. You know the tournament needs Caesar in. Yes. After going 4 frames to 1 up, Yacoob has just got Caesar winning 5 frames in a row. His singles come to a crashing first round second life exit. But for frame number 11, he most likely than not will be winning. Now needing to put the yellow he's looking at, have the keyboard bounce off the cushion, have a left spin on it, move it towards the opposite end of the table where his second yellow is. That looks perfect. He could get right to the center pocket. That was close. I'm not even certain he has full sight of the yellow. I'm certain he can see it. Whether or not he can put it is something different altogether. Maybe he has been outplayed in the last 30 to 40 minutes, but even some of the luck has evaded him. He may need a little bit of curve of the cue ball around the jaw of the center pocket. I wouldn't say that from that position he has full sight of the yellow. He's been a master of the ray raves. This one will be another try and tempt his mastery. Yacoob Sheikh must make sure, if he doesn't, he probably loses the frame and the match. He's trying to carve the cue ball around the jaw of the center pocket to find the yellow. Hopefully for him, put it. Cue ball will be natural for him to put the black. He finds the yellow, but doesn't put. And Scissors fans, led by Kubaka and Mthembu, are now starting to chant him, finish him. Pretty difficult frame to try and finish, but the player trying to do so is a pretty difficult player himself, I think. However, Season is one more snooker. Even then, it could be non-effective if Yacoob finds the yellow, because the angle would be certainly relatively easy. Now here he comes. I'm not so certain he wants to put. I think trying to play safety will be the way to go. He has played safety, but the cue ball has left it. Yacoob will most certainly be finding the yellow as long as he does a little curve of the cue ball around the red. This the shot he's now playing. Mass shot, a curve of the cue ball, a little around the yellow will almost certainly find. Yes, there he is. Should be a winner of this frame. Given his level, it's relative ease him putting black to the corner pocket at the bottom. And he wins the frame, and he pulls one back. First frame won by Yacoob in the last 6. Still 2 to go. Yacoob Sheikh 5 and Caesar Chandiga 6. There has been nomination of the yellows by Caesar. Remember, in the rules, when the color of balls that the player is aiming at is not very clear, like you can see Caesar is playing a yellow so close to the red, he always has to nominate the color before the shot is taken, or else it is a foul. He has done so. He seems to be on the verge of taking a very important victory. It will be one ball at a time, with one thing on the mind of the Scorpion: finish the frame, finish Yacoob, and maintain his second life in the competition. Not so many tournaments get as difficult as this is by Caesar. Once again, if he doesn't win this match, it will be the first time in my memory that he's losing both lives of a double life competition in the first round. It didn't happen to him in Morocco. It didn't happen to him in the United Kingdom. It has never happened to him home in Kampala. It hasn't happened to him here in South Africa, where he has played a number of comps, by the way. 2019 African Championships. This year he had a tour of South Africa. Same thing he had last year. He has also played at the World Cup Championships in Johannesburg before. He has played double life competitions in Nairobi, in Dar es Salaam, in Lusaka, in Bulawayo, in Harare. Never has he lost both of his lives in the first round. Yacoob is trying to make history. Caesar will want to maintain that bit of history by winning this frame. There are two tricky yellows, also having two reds in front of them, manipulating the cue ball to have one of them pass. It has to be with power and precision. Multiple maintained for the next. There he goes. In my opinion, he should simply have rolled that yellow, because the cue ball would be natural for the yellow. Instead of being potted to the same corner pocket he has potted the previous one, it will be safer potting it to the corresponding corner pocket at the bottom left of the screen. He can have himself vindicated if he finds a way to win the frame. Yellow off red, there he goes. And is there a better way to respond? Is there a better way to win? Is there a better way to relieve pressure? Is there a better way to come off winner against one of the best players from Cape Town, playing on a united table made in South Africa? Right here in South Africa, against the South African player, the Scorpion is now missing a yellow. Yacoob can breathe again. Yacoob will fancy his chances finishing this frame. He's more than good enough to. As long as he gets the connection right, the finish of the rest of the reds will be expected. Though tricky, he's within range, within potting range of 7 reds, and perhaps the black, which if he did, will treat us to a decider. And look at how easy he's doing it. A little bit arrogant, very confident. The Ugandan Ian Zibwe has been defeated by Zimbabwe's Malvan Makonza by 7 frames to 5, meaning that Ian exits both lives of the competition in respective first round. This is Yacoob now attempting combination shot that against all of the pressure and the weight of the scorpion, especially when losing the frame, and the match should the combination come through. He's taken a deep breath, of course a sign of the pressure under which he was prior to taking the shot. This one seems difficult as well, but he will be okay. He's growing in confidence. He started off the better player, became outmatched by Caesar in the middle of the frame, of the match. Now he's trying to gain his groove and confidence back, taking the path to a decider. And he seems on the verge. He will now need to put the last spread, have the whites played with big backspin, try to put black perhaps to the center pocket for him to win the frame and take the match to the wire. There he goes. They stop spin cube bounces off two cushions and look at how neatly he's potting, not just potting but also manipulating the cue ball. He's winning the frame. He's back on the verge. He's taking us to the wire. He's aiming for the black. Here comes Yacoob Sheikh, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Cape Town. He equalizes in Mpumalanga. Yacoob Sheikh 6, Caesar Chandiga 6, and now we have a decider.
Ibrahim Ibra and Yacoob Kosa. Yacoob Kosa and Ibra.
Come on, let me go. Come on, Scorpion.
Ibra Sidemba to control. Ibra Sidemba to control.
There is no better motivation for Yacoob to try and win, no better motivation for Caesar to try and win, also no better motivation for fans at the venues to stay at their Teta hooks, even more Teta hooks online, where this match is now watched in its few thousands on Qpixel's photography combined with the Peter Chowe live YouTube streams sharing the same exact commentary, saying Yacoob Sheikh and Caesar Chandiga no shade without the biggest match in the first round, second life of this men's singles event at the Ultimate Pool Championships here in Mpumalanga in 2025. He has his work cut out here. It will not be a frame he will be winning easily if he will. Nonetheless, he seems to have his mind focused on trying. Could play one yellow into another if the wheel drive is successful. I'm not so sure how good a shot that has been. I'm not so sure he has sight of one yellow he can now put with ease. Maybe the yellow that is at the top end of the table, which is right end if you're watching on Q Pixels Photography YouTube. Here he is, Yacoob Sheikh, putting the diagonal yellow. He has to maintain cue ball for another yellow, perhaps to the center pocket. Yes, he does. The left center pocket, perhaps the top center pocket, has another yellow portable direct or off red. And the existence of the red actually make the pocket look bigger. And the chance for Yacoob to pot look as well bigger. The unpredictability of the frame as well looking bigger. The frame has to have the effect of as well opening up another ball, because potting will not do. Just potting will not do. My goodness. He has gotten everybody by surprise, including the commentator. Instead potting by long range, playing the cue ball into scissors red, playing it away and opening up the space for another yellow to be potted to the same exact center pocket. It's not just the brains, but also the execution under pressure. A match tied at 6-all. A scoreline that has Yacoob attempting to produce a very memorable victory. He needs another big shot. A normal pot has white not natural because it moves to the opposite end of the table from the one where the two yellows of Yacoob are. He has his work cut out again. All the way from Gauteng and sponsored by Naide Brands. His manager Dyer is at the venue and is watching the match. No need introducing the pressure under which he is. And Yacoob has a ball aborted out of the pocket. Call it misfortune. He was attempting to produce what would have been a very improbable clearance. If he did make a clearance of those yellows, all of them 7, it would have been something of one of the better clearances of the tournament. Now the Scorpion may have to do something equally good if he's to stand a chance of winning the frame and the match by making a clearance of the 7 reds on the table. 1, 2, 3 of them are dead. Here comes the Scorpion. He must make sure he plays defense, and it is very effective defense. Perhaps with the intention to be granted 1 free shot, put 1 difficult ball, and hopefully for him, go for the frame. You would fathom that Yacoob will be finding one of his yellows, especially one of those 2. The angle is quite easy. He goes instead for another yellow, of course, in mind that once he plays into those 2 yellows with ease, his scissors red as well open. He plays into the head of the cushion, he fouls. It is a chance, big hoop. He has his cue ball in hand now. Scissor can place it anywhere on the bed of the table. It will be tempting for him to play the dead red, the one that is so close to one of Yacoob's yellows. He may want to play the shot with the backspin, cue ball bouncing off the cushion so that he can have white for the 2 reds that are at the 2 center pockets, top and bottom of your screen respectively. And there he is. Yacoob can only wait and watch and pray.
Daniel, Uganda, and Jared Bernard to control.
There he is. That was neat play from the Scorpion. The Ugandan team now sit and surround besides those who are now starting their matches, all focused on this match, which will be memorable in every kind of way. It has been one of the biggest in the tournament so far. You can't have two players this good having to sort each other out as early as round number 1. The 2 yellow up left end of the table, Caesar will play them. The 2 red, sorry, he will play them last. The ones that are at the top end, sorry, will be played last. It is right end if you're watching Pixels photography. There comes the white, and it is okay. He is fighting for his life. It is a double life tournament where Caesar, one of the would-be tournament favorites, was subjected to a first-round defeat in his first life to the South African Yacoob. He will have to defeat a much better South African Yacoob in the second life first round, this time in a decider, which is 2 big shots away. Played the red by real dive to the corner pocket, have right spin on the keyboard, bounce it off the cushion, move towards the direction where the last ball on the table is. The red is in, the all-important last ball on the table is the black. He will breathe in and out. He will use the Scorpion choke to choke the tip of his cue stick for the last time, place the Scorpion choke on the table and aim for the black and play his most important shot of this tournament so far. He aims and misses. The South African fans are already celebrating. They know that the miss of that ball gives a chance bigger than ever for Yacoob to defeat Caesar for, I think, the first time in his career. After all, it will be the first time that the two are facing off. Here comes Yacoob, representing my dear brands, representing South Africa, representing Cape Town, also representing himself on the verge of eliminating the Scorpion entirely out of the competition. Both lives are on the verge of an exit, that is for Caesar, as first round, to respective South African players, respectively from Gauteng and Western Cape. Tempting shot for Yacoob. Pot yellow with sharp cut to the center pocket. Hugo bouncing off the top cushion, which is rightwards on Q-Pixel's photo space. The roll of the last yellow to the corner pocket, bottom of the screen, which is top left on Q-Pixel's photography, gives Caesar notch, gives Yacoob notch white for black, portable to the corresponding corner pocket, that is bottom left or bottom right on Pikachu Live. There is the shot. White is safe. Victory is going the way of Yacoob in the most anticipated match of the competition so far. Yacoob defeats Caesar, who does congratulate him as Caesar gives him a big hug of sportsmanship for a big fight that has ended in victory. Mercy is as well happy for Yacoob. Jerry as well congratulates Yacoob. Victory goes to South Africa. Final score: Yacoob Sheikh 6 and Caesar Chandiga. Sorry, Yacoob Sheikh 7 and Caesar Chandiga 6. Thank you for watching. Amidst a smiling Aiden, Caesar exits the competition in the men's singles entirely.